Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another Michael's Community Classroom. I am Allie W. I'm here from Yarn Inspirations. So happy to be here with everybody today. We have a really great product showcase lined up for you this evening. So for those of you who it's your first time joining us for something like this, we really like to be able to take some time to show you the new yarns that we have coming out and really walk you through what those yarns are like. Today, we are here with Tamara Kelly of Moogly Blog, as well as Seema, one of our designers from Yarn Inspirations. So we have a lot of really great things set up to talk through tonight. Really hoping that we can answer some of your questions about these new products and get you excited for your next project. As we like to do in these showcases, we really like to be able to give a chance to treat all of our participants who hang out with us this evening. So we will be choosing 3 winners tonight. 3 people will be chosen to win a special OGO yarn prize pack. So just stay around till the end of class. And if you are still here at the end of class, that's when we'll be selecting 3 winners. So just stick around with us. Perfect. I think that's it for me. Of course, as always, if you have any questions during class, I'll be trying to get to as many as we can, and we'll try and answer as many as we can during class as well. Perfect.
All righty. Okay, so hi, I'm Tamara from Moogly, and I'm so excited to be here tonight with Seema to talk to you about a couple of these new OGO yarns from Yarn Inspirations, both of which you'll be able to find at your local Michael's. So up first, we wanted to talk to you about Bernat Blanket. I have just a few of the colors here. There are a total of 19 different colorways of the Bernat Blanket OGO, so I don't even know which one to hold up first. They're all so cool. So let me go ahead and just hold this right up to the camera here. So the first thing you're going to notice is the shape. This is not your typical skein. It's not your typical ball. It's not your typical, yarn hank or anything like this. This is a patent pending, whole brand new put up for yarn, a whole new shape. Now, for those of you who know and love Bernat Blanket, first and foremost, I don't want you to panic. The Bernat Blanket shape that you know and love isn't going away, but this is a new one, a new alternative, so you can try it out with the yarn you love and really see just how great it is. Now, another big thing you'll notice that's different between this and your regular blanket that you're used to, we've got 3 color blocks. There are 3 different colors, 3 big chunks of color in each one of the 19 different colorways of Bernat Blanket. So right there, you can see it's different. It's got this striping, so you're getting 3 colors in every skein. You want to make a multicolored project. You don't have to necessarily go out and get a bunch of different skeins. You can do them all together. And one of the things I really love about it is the colorways that have been chosen for us with these. These are some colors that I wouldn't necessarily have put together myself, but I really, really love them once they're put together. This is one of my favorites right here. This one's called Copper Coins. And look at it. I don't know that I would have grabbed a yellow and orange and a brown and said, or kind of a darker gray brown here. I don't know that I would have automatically gone for these 3, but once I see them together, I really, really love it. This one right here, I believe, is the agave. Yes, the agave colorway. And look at those beautiful blues. So great for an ombre or gradient effect, all the colors right there. So the big thing about this OGO shape is, of course, it's a whole different shape. It's got a few really unique, great features. It's going to be tangle-free. It's going to pull smoothly. And you can use it to color or to go with the flow and crochet or knit right through it, or you can break it into blocks. So Seema, do you want to say some things about Bernat Blanket? And I'll go ahead and get set up here with my overhead camera and we can show how it looks outside the package.
Definitely. Thanks, Tamara. As you were saying, like one of the really fun things about it are those 3 sections of color. So I've got a few here as well. This particular shade is called Indigo Fade. So you can see it's almost got like this ombre or gradient effect. So you could, as Tamara says, use it from start to finish, or you split this up and create some kind of cool striping effect. And you'll see a lot of our patterns, which we'll be going through a few examples here and then tons more online, showcase how you can really play with these in really unique ways. I see that Tamara's got the OGO lying face down on her table there. Maybe we can take
Yes.
a look.
Let's go ahead. Well, let's go ahead and look at it all close up right from the beginning here. See, so you can get a really close look at it. This is the front of the label. You can see the label's a little different. Don't have that usual round sort of skein label we have on most skeins of yarn. So it goes from the front and actually stands up. So you can see right there, took my hands off it. It's standing up all on its own. On the bottom of the skein, let's see if I can turn that here, we are going to have all the yarn information. So we can see here that this Bernat Blanket Ogo, just like the Bernat Blanket you already know, is a super bulky or a 6, and they recommend an 8mm knitting needles or hook. And of course, it's machine washable and dryable, which is one of the things I love about Blanket. 100% polyester, so it's going to put up with what your family dishes out. I know with kids and pets, this is such a favorite yarn for us to use around the house. So this is also the same size. So you're not losing any yardage when you try the Ogo over the standard skein put up of this yarn. It's still 10.5 ounces. It's still 220 yards, 300 grams. It's going to give you just as much length. It just gives you a few other options. So if I turn this over here to the back, you can see, I'm gonna pull this up a little closer, you can see the back of the label. And I want to point out, this is something a little different that I haven't seen on any other yarns anywhere else. They have this QR code. And I also learned, showing my age a little bit here, but I also learned that all our phone cameras now have QR readers built in. I thought I was going to have to download some special app. Nope, it's right in the camera now. So I was able to just point my camera right at it. It picked up that QR code, and it took me to all these wonderful free patterns for this yarn. So now you can just point your phone right at it. Boom, you're going to be right there with those free patterns. I also, you can see right here, I saw somebody commenting about that pattern that was on the front. You can see it's got some information on that. So while you're right there in store, you'll see how many of those Ogos you'll need to buy to make that project. And you can make sure that you have the right hook or needle size depending on what you're making. So were there any questions about the label before I go ahead and take it off?
No questions here, but
Okay.
that is the Modern Geometry Crochet Blanket
Yes.
on the front, and I've dropped the link in the chat for those of you who are interested in that one.
It's such a great blanket, and I think you know, it's done here in these great neutrals, but you could use any of these colors and you're going to get such a different look for every decor. And I really do love that design. So let's go ahead and open it up. Basically, we're just going to pop it right open. You can see it just pulls right out from the center there. Gotta give it a little bit of a tug. And then before we look at the yarn, let's finish looking at this label a little bit more. I've got it upside down. Let me turn it around there. There we are. So inside the label, you're going to find some more explicit care instructions here, a little bit more information in a couple different languages. And over here, you're also going to have a quick start guide here for your Ogo, sort of the snip, pull, stitch that we'll be showing you here in just a minute live. But you've always got that information with you. So if you buy an Ogo and put it on the shelf and don't get back to it for a little while, you've got all the information right there. So let's go ahead and set that aside and pull right back up this Bernat Blanket Ogo. So you can see it's got this really gorgeous, I call it sort of like a croissant shape, but you know, a little crescent roll. And you can see it's thicker up here and it gets narrower down here. And one of the questions I've gotten a lot about these yarns is there more of one color or are they the same amounts? And looking at it from the outside, you might very easily think, well, this is half brown, you know, a quarter or so peach and a quarter or so of the yellow color. But as you'll see here, as I take them apart, the way they sort of cone down into each other, the way this patent pending system has them wrapped, it really is equal amounts of each of these colors, which is so great for planning your projects. So now it's time to get started. How do we break into this really cool crescent of yarn here? We want to find this section down here where it comes down and narrows. This is what was inside that label. So when we took our label off, this was down inside the bottom of the label there. And what you want to do is just really carefully start pulling those two colors apart. And down here is where they won't be connected. So you can just pick at it a little bit with your fingers there, keep pulling it apart. And there, right there, you'll see what's called the fastener cord. This is just a little plastic string that helps hold the whole thing together. So what we want to do, and pull my own hair off of there. How about you guys? I always get hair on my yarn, whether I've started using it or not. There we go. So now we've got the that little plastic bit, and all we need to do is pull up our scissors and give it a little snip. You can see it just pops right apart. Now, over here, we had the end with the plastic nubbin on it. So that's the side I like to go for because it's a little easier to find because it's got that little plastic bit right there. There we are. So you can see right there just how thin and light that is, just a little bit. And we just pull that all the way out. Set that aside. So we've snipped, we've pulled, and now we're ready to stitch. So all we need to do is find that outside edge. This one you can see right here is pulling from the inside. So we want to come over here and find the one that's coming from the outside. Sometimes they're up on there a little bit. This one wants to hide from me. There we go. But you can see I've only got maybe a foot or two of yarn pulled out here, far less than the yarn barf that I would have if I were trying to pull out of the center of one of those skeins. I've only got a foot or so of yarn, and I've got my end, and I'm ready to start stitching. So then I can go ahead and start right there if I want to start with the brown and just start stitching away. And you can see how beautifully it just pulls right off the skein. You're not going to get any tangles. You're not going to get any more yarn barf. It's not going to tangle up on itself. It's always going to pull really nicely here from the outside. Now, I always get questions too, what if I really love pulling from the inside? You can pull from the inside with this, but a couple of things. You absolutely have to remove that plastic fastener cord first, because, you know, use your imagination. If that's still in there and you try pulling from the inside, it's going to make a big mess. And also, it might be slightly more likely to tangle. So if you really, for the complete tangle-free experience, you really do want to just go ahead and pull right from the outside. So with that said, what if we don't want to start with the brown? What if we wanted to start with the peach or the yellow? Well, then we have that option, and it's going to be so much easier with this yarn than it is with other yarns. All we need to do is sort of like we did down here, start pulling those two colors apart. And just take your time. And I wish you could feel it. If we had feel-o-vision here, you can really feel how they almost want to separate. Can you see how that orange is sort of going down in the brown there? With the Bernat, since it's a textured yarn, it likes to grab itself a little bit. I like to give it a little bit of a tug and a pull. Sometimes it helps to twist it a little bit. It's just got more texture to the yarn itself. But then you can pull it right on apart, right there. And then find where those two colors match up, give it a little snip, and then you can continue stitching right from there. So then we can pull this one from the outside. There we are. Or you can come over here and break this one up as well. So let's go ahead and do that one more time. And then I think we've got some really cool patterns to show you that we've made with these yarns, or that rather the Yarn Inspirations designers have made with these yarns. So now we've got the yellow and the orange apart. And again, we just want to give that a little bit of a tug. Sometimes a little twist helps. And you can see they really do come right apart. And now that they're all apart, it's a little close on camera here. I've got my camera sort of set up close to the table so you can see, but hopefully you can see, especially here, these really are equal amounts of yarn. We have equal amounts of the 3 different colors right there with the Bernat Blanket, so you can make your multicolored project. So with that, are there any questions about the yarn up close here before we move away from the overhead camera for this one?
I don't think so.
Okay. It is very soft. So I had a little comment about that. You can see beautiful, gorgeous Bernat chenille blanket texture that you're so used to. Seema, I'm going to throw it back to you for a minute. What do you have in Bernat Blanket for us?
Yeah, I've got a blanket here called the, hang on, I'm just to make sure, yes, my audio's on. The Knit Pretty Puzzle Points blanket. So we've got it in a different colorway online, but in person, I've got a blue version that's really cool. It's done entirely in garter stitch. I might have to stand up to show you guys this properly. Here we are.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's really pretty. And oh, I'm showing you the wrong side. Let's turn that around. What we've got here are 6 pieces that are knit separately and then joined. The pattern is really clever. I'm not going to explain all of it on camera because it'll be really complicated to show you, but it is really, there is like an assembly diagram that explains how it comes together, starting from like this end inward, and then the bottom part, let's see if I can show you, is sort of like the reverse, essentially 6 identical pieces that come together. And then there's like another piece here that's knit in another direction. So it really shows how garter stitch can just take on a totally different life when you put, you know, some cleverly placed increases and decreases. It's sort of a new take on the chevron that you might be used to. And it takes, let me just double check here. We've got 2 colors that it uses, indigo fade. So it uses 2 ogos of this particular one here. And then it also uses 3 of the shade London, which has like this light gray color here, a darker, not quite charcoal, but a darker gray, and then another blue shade as well. So it's a super fun design. And you can have a lot of fun. Like if blue doesn't work with your decor, you can kind of mix and match and figure out what shades work for you, because the diagram lays it out in a way that you can almost like color to play with.
Absolutely. That's one of my favorite things about the designs you guys have done for the Bernat Blanket and the other Ogo yarns is the color play, and how you will take 2 different but somewhat related colorways and put them together. And again, other color combinations that I wouldn't have thought of. But that one is really beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and pull up a crochet one that I have. And let's see. Let's see if I can get this one turned around the right way. I did not crochet this one. This one was by the Yarnspirations design team as well. But let me make sure I've got the right side out. Here we are. I think this is the one. I think I might have to stand up too. It's a great big one, but perfect for fall. Absolutely. So Allie or Seema, can you guys fill us in on the details for this one?
Yes. So this one's the Striped Steps crochet blanket. It uses, let me just get that link open real quick. It uses really great fall colors, that's for sure. I completely agree. Perfect fall blanket. So it uses 3 ogos of fired clay, which is the sort of pink and rust and red color, and then 2 ogos of copper coins, which is that really nice kind of, I would say, like fall foliage.
Yes, the copper coins ones, it always reminds me, that's one I just took apart, I think. It always reminds me a little bit of, I don't know, like rose gold or something like that. It has a very lush look to it. So yes, this one it's absolutely gorgeous. I really love this one. And then I know I have one more with blanket. Seema, did you have another one?
Nope. I don't. I have for our next yarn, actually.
Well then, I will bring up my other one here. And this one is stunning. And I definitely have to make sure I'm holding up the right side for this one. I held up the wrong side first and I was like, oh, it's okay. And then I saw the front and it's so wonderful. Let me get it turned around the right way here. And Allie, I'm going to let you tell us about this one too, because this is another beautiful one by the Yarnspirations design team here while I try and stand up and show it.
Absolutely. So this is the Bernat Mosaic Stripes crochet blanket. It is absolutely gorgeous. I think one of the great things, I mean, out of all of the really great things about Bernat Blanket Ogo, but having the 3 colors really does make a project like Mosaic a lot easier, I think. So this one uses, again, copper coins. So it uses 3 ogos of copper coins and then 3 of agave.
It sounds like from these patterns, and then I noticed the pattern on the label, that your average throw with this with Bernat Blanket Ogo would take about 6 or 7 skeins. Would you say that's, or ogos, I should say. Does that sound right to you, Seema?
Yeah. I'd say most of them are about 7 ogos. That seems about right. Yeah. And like all of them, we've sort of really factored in, like especially that puzzle points blanket, for example, by Julia Medill on our design team. She sort of really considered using up all of the ogo so that you're really maximizing the yarn, provided you check your gauge. You should always throw out. But Tamara, are you ready to talk about our next yarn? Like, do you mind if I show
Absolutely. I can't wait. I've been so excited for this one to finally hit the shelves.
Yes, now this one here is a completely new yarn. So I know many of you are familiar with Blanket. This one is a new one for us, and it's called Karen Big Donut Ogo. It is really nice worsted weight yarn. It comes in both striped shades like this one here, where there are 5 colors on the Ogo, and there are some solid shades as well, so that you can play with the color further. Just like the Blanket Ogo, you'll find the details on the bottom of the package here. If you're wondering about the gauge, it's 17 stitches and 23 rows for knitting using a 5mm knitting needles. And then for crochet, it's 13 SC and 14 rows or a 5mm with a 5mm crochet hook. So it's a really versatile weight. We've definitely done a lot of patterns that show off color blocking, a lot of geometric designs as well. And there are a lot of really cool fashion pieces, both hats, scarves, garments, you name it. So I'm going to also see if I can just show you how this all comes apart. It's just the same as the Blanket Ogo, except in this time we've got, you can see how the 5 colors are here. And the colorway that I've got with me is Choco Blueberry. So we've really got that donut feeling going on. Just like the Ogo, the Blanket Ogo, we can gently pull apart. Although I gotta say, I'm a little rough. I've accidentally just pulled it myself by hand, but I've still held on to the plastic bit, which is key, as Tamara was mentioning, to pull out from the Ogo. Let's see if I got that right. Oh, I let go. In any case, I'm just going to pull that out the same way that you do with the Blanket one. And with the colors, you can see we've got 5 here on this particular one. We've got like this really creamy brown, a charcoal, a lighter creamish color, and 2 different shades of blue as well. So I think as I have it here, the right color, I'm going to show off a pattern that uses this particular shade, Tamara, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I don't know how many of you can remember the Mad for Plaid blanket from last year. I really liked it. I didn't design that one. I think our colleague Julia did. But I thought, I wonder if I could wear that design. And so we came up with this. It's a combination of a blanket and a vest, and I'll explain shortly. So it's a bit smaller than your usual blanket, but I don't know about you in the last year, but there were many times where I was just wrapped up with a blanket. And then when I'd have to go to the mailbox or something, you just want to go out of the house wearing whatever. And there was definitely a blanket dressing trend going on. So what we've got here, see if I can show you the start from the right end. So this blanket shawl vest, we call it all different things. It's sort of like a cross between a ruana and a poncho. Starts from the bottom here. And one really cool feature about this pattern that I wanted to call out was that we started the chain with switching to the different colors. So it's in tarja crochet in these large blocks. And the chain, you'd start with the blue, and then you continue your chain with this next color, the black, and then so on. So you get this almost like woven effect that it comes seamless right to the end. And it looks like a really complicated stitch, but it's just SC and chain 1. So you're working into the chain 1 spaces throughout. So you only need to focus on doing your color transition here. So this is definitely one of those cases where I'd say, get out your Ziploc bags or something to separate your yarn and keep yourself in order. And we just really had a lot of fun with the colorway. And then after we were done the entire thing, we added these vertical slip stitch lines, which were done after the fact. So you don't need to worry about this additional line happening then. But I don't know if you can, well, yeah, you can see on camera. There are these little armholes that were created. All it really is skipping a bunch of stitches and then coming back and working them again. And then that creates, I'm not as tall as the model that wore this particular one, but I'll sort of slip it on so you kind of understand how it works. There are much better photos on our website. that I would take a look at. But you can see kind of how it works with an armhole, or you could toss it on your couch and it's all good either way. But it's a really just like fun thing to make. And especially because it's not a full size blanket, if intarsia crochet intimidates you, this is kind of a semi smaller scale for you to try.
It also looks like a great first garment. Like it would be, you know, the work would be in doing the intarsian things, but you're not going to be doing a whole lot of like shaping or short rows or anything that maybe garment makers, first time garment makers might be more intimidated by.
Exactly. Just a rectangle with 2 holes in it. And then it has like a really cool waterfall hem. And our model on the set, she tried it on with a belt through the armholes, which could be a really, like if you want to kind of cinch it in to make it look a little bit more fashionable, then you could definitely do that as well.
That's such a clever idea. That's the kind of thing I never think of. And then you have to see the model doing it to be like, oh yeah, that's the way to style that. It looks so great. So I don't know that I do have a blanket to show off in the Karen Big Donut. But before I show this off too much, I just want to show you guys, there are so many gorgeous colors, but I want to show you my favorite. This one is called the Blue Moon colorway. And this is another one of the Karen Big Donuts. But look at that. Does anybody else see like Van Gogh's Starry Night in this? Isn't this just beautiful? I just love it so much. There might or might not be a pattern coming up in Moogly this fall, on Moogly this fall using that one. So it's so pretty, but still a secret for now. But what I can show you is another gorgeous blanket from the Yarn Inspirations design team. And I know this one is knit and very, very cool. So I'm going to pass it back to Allie again with all the details.
This one is the knit sawtooth panels blanket. And it uses, let me just click on over. So it uses,
I remember being surprised that it used fewer than I thought. It's just really clever use of color.
So it only uses 2 different colorways.
Yeah.
3 ogos of blue velvet and 3 ogos of lemon plum. I don't know about you both, but I absolutely love all the color names of all of these big donut. They make me very hungry.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. And it looks like this one is garter stitch short rows. This much I can say by looking at it. And then looks like it's worked straight across, or is this one sewn together? Do you happen to know?
It appears to be made
sewn together.
Okay, I was like,
I do believe it's sewn together.
Whoever did it did a great job.
Yeah. One of the things also that like I've found personally when I've done a few panel blankets recently with Ogo is that it's just a bit easier if you're on the go. You don't, if you're, on a train or something, you can't have a full 60-inch blanket on your lap. At least it's almost like working a scarf. So it's a bit more approachable. Yes, you do have to seam it at the end, but it is very satisfying when you're done. And just like put on a podcast, get out your tutorial, or, refresh how you're going to do that garter stitch seam, and you'll be fine.
I think it's sort of similar in a way to those mile a minute Afghans, where it's like if you're working the small sections, the whole thing seems to go so much faster, even though you're still basically making entire blankets worth of stitches, for sure. Yeah, so there's some gorgeous, gorgeous stuff here. Were there any questions that we could answer, Allie?
No, but I did just want to mention about the colors. So they're Karen Big Donut Ogo comes in 12 shades. 8 are the 5 colored shades, and then there are 4 solids actually, including, so there's 2 neutrals, and then there's 2 really gorgeous colors, that really beautiful lilac-y purple, and then there's a really nice cranberry shade too that I find incredibly scrumptious.
This one's called Frostberry, and I mean, obviously these are picked, so they're going to be a beautiful mix and match with a lot of these. Here's another one. This one is called Blue Velvet. I think you might be able to get that one in there as well. I don't know that I have the pink solid one, but definitely.
I have some other colors here as well.
Yeah,
Oh, you
okay.
got that one.
This
Oh,
one.
what one's that?
This one is called Lemon Plum.
I really I think like you mentioned before, these pre-curated kind of color palettes, they really do
Mhm.
make it very easy to just kind of start your project and not have to think a whole lot about what you're going to pick out for somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. There's another one with these. And I want to say too, it's kind of the same situation like where the Bernat Blanket, where they cone down into each other. So if you see one big chunk, don't let it fool you. It should still be 5 equal segments for each of these, for sure. There's a couple things that we wanted to make sure to mention that are on the website that you might find really helpful if you're working with Ogo. And I know, Seema, you had, I think, a printout of that really cool sheet that's available as well.
Yes, I do. I think it's hidden under a blanket. Just give me a sec.
It's always a trouble once we start pulling out the blankets and yarns. Everything sort of gets buried.
Yeah, so we've got this Ogo pattern color guide. It's basically a black and white guide you can print. If any of you do any embroidery or cross stitch, you might recognize the same concept. Let's say you don't want to use the same shades that we've used, but you want to follow along with the pattern easily. What you can do is cut a piece of your yarn and just stick it down under each letter. So when you're following the pattern and it says use A, you remember, oh yeah, that's what the A is for me. That's what the B is for me. So you don't have to worry about, you know, sticking with exactly the way we've done it. There are so many colors that you can play with that we really encourage people to have fun with it. And we put, there might be more spaces than you need, but it should make the process pretty fun. And I think Allie can probably pop a link into the chat for anyone who's looking for this.
Yes. So if you go to the tips and tricks link that I dropped in the chat here, not only does it show a lot of great tips for, you know, whether it's unassembling your Ogo, doing your snip pull stitch, but under working with Ogo, you'll see where you can print that chart that Seema just showed.
I've got 2 other colors here with me, actually. This one is called Spiced Ginger. And we've got a lot of projects that use this particular shade. So highly recommend, it's pretty fun. And even though our collection for Big Donut especially is full of color, so you can really have a lot of fun with color blocking and patchwork. For anyone who likes neutrals, there are some neutrals. This one here is called Boston Cream. And it also, even if you want to mix this in with the really vibrant shades, that'll also look really fun. So definitely check this out. And I have another project here from one of my colleagues, Catherine, on the design team that is super fun that I want to show. Uh-oh, I have tangled myself. So I don't know how many of you saw the J.W. Anderson cardigan that Harry Styles made all too famous in the last 2 years. I don't even remember when it came out. Tamara, do you? I just remember it being a thing.
It sort of exploded.
Yes. So for anyone who wanted a crochet patchwork cardigan, we've got one here, and we also have a knit version available. So this is a really fun design here. We've got, let me confirm the colors. So it uses spiced ginger, which is this one here, and Boston cream. So it's a really great example of mixing those vibrant hues with some neutrals. It comes in multiple sizes, as all of our garment patterns do, and it uses about 3 to 5 Ogos per shade, depending on which size you're making. And there's a bunch of different square options in the pattern. So there's like a basic single crochet, there's herringbone half double crochet, there's some striped moss stitch, there's, what else have we got here? A textured one here, which looks kind of like, oh, what's that stitch? I'm blanking on it at the moment, but it looks like when you work SC into DC and DC into SC.
Oh, grit stitch, I think,
Yeah, it looks kind of like a grit
or
stitch.
maybe griddle stitch.
Yeah,
I
or
always get those mixed up.
a variation on the griddle stitch, I think. And then we've got a ribbed stitch as well. So it's really fun. It's one of those projects where if you're newer to crochet or you want to give crocheting a chance or knitting a chance for the knit version, kind of a great intro because you just have to work on squares. You can kind of work on it when you have time, wherever you are. It's very like transportable. And then when you're done, you can follow our guidelines for how it comes together, or you can just do your own thing. And after you've pieced together, it's just sort of like simple blocks for the arm and that sort of thing. You work ribbing for the button band all along the edges, and then along the bottom here, you've got the ribbed hem as well. So it's just really fun, that statement crochet vibe that everyone seems really into right now. But I've always wanted one of these like granny square-ish cardigans. Like it's got its own thing. So highly recommend. I'm just gonna try it on.
And it's such a great way to, like you say, try new stitches, you know, a little bit more interesting than a sampler blanket. You can wear it out and actually show people what you've made, which is maybe a little bit more socially acceptable than walking everywhere in your blanket.
It's true. It's true. It's pretty fun. It's really fun. And there is a knit version. So
I think I've seen a couple versions of that on the Art Inspirations website using the different colorways as well. So you could definitely change the look of that pattern, you know, depending on what colorways you use for sure. And I know I saw one person ask about slightly more springy colorways rather than just fall stuff. And I know I've got a couple here. This one was the that lemon plum, I think would be great for spring. It's got some spring action happening there with a little bit of a, it's reading a little bit darker, I think, on camera than it does in person. This is a little bit dustier to me in person, but I think this one could work well for spring as well. And I think I'm about out of colors. You might have a few more colors there, Seema, that, I don't know, do you have some spring recommendations?
I do think the spiced ginger really would work quite well. I think it's looking a little yellower on camera than it is in real life. There are some clearer photos on the Michaels website where it's on white, so you can see it a bit truer to its shades, but it's got like a pastel blue and like this soft peachy color, this nice pink and like a really great neutral cream with kind of a pink gray undertone. So I think there are a lot of shades even within, like if you decide, okay, you know, in this particular one, the Choco Blueberry, you really want to focus on these lighter shades because it feels more spring, then you can always save this piece for another project or piece it together with another Ogo, which is one of the benefits of having it in this format too.
There was a question here from Crystal about do the patterns utilize, do you find that a lot of the patterns use up all of the Ogos?
Yeah, it's definitely something that we try to do while writing the patterns is ensure like you will undoubtedly, like we always try to budget a little bit extra yarns so that if someone's gauge is off or something is a little different, you know, like if you leave a bit of a longer tail than we do on our projects, so that you have enough yarn, but all of our projects use all the colors in the Ogo. So we wouldn't say like, get spiced ginger, but only use 4 of the colors. Any pattern with spiced ginger would use all 5 of the shades, if that helps.
Definitely.
Oh, and this is what I'm not as tall as the model who's wearing it, but you can kind of gauge what the cardigan looks like from the bottom. Yeah.
It looks so cozy, and this yarn really is so soft. I'm sure it's must feel great to wear.
It does. I will take it off because the lights are on me and I'm kind of sweaty in the room, but outside this would be perfect.
Absolutely. And I did want to return to something you mentioned earlier about we were talking about labeling the different colors or the A, B, C, D and things. Excuse me. I've designed a few patterns now. I've used the blanket and I've used the donut in different patterns. And I did decide to pull apart those colors. But I found for on the go, because it's OGO, when I'm working for the color play from one end to the other, I really do like to put it into a gallon-sized baggie and just feed the tail end through there. It keeps it clean. You know, if I can throw it in my to-go bag, you know, along with my Notions bag and just take off. But when I separated the different colors out, what I like to do was I would take sandwich-sized baggies and I would just take my marker and label the baggie A, B, C, D, you know, each individual baggie. And then I would put those individual colors in the sandwich size baggies. Now that worked a little bit better for the big donut than it did for the Bernat Blanket. I think that might still take a gallon size, even with the parts separated. But how did you guys handle it over in the design team? Was it pretty similar? Or?
Yeah, actually, that's exactly it. Like we did little Ziploc bags. There were some projects where when I worked on it at home, it wasn't, I mean, I'm really used to it, so it didn't really bother me. I just had it all in a basket. Oh no, it's in my other room. But yeah, it was all in a basket, just sort of laying upright. And there was enough squished in there that I was able to do that. But definitely I recommend the Ziploc thing, which is actually, it's kind of what I was doing anyway. Because I tend to shove my projects in my purse, which is like stuck with keys and everything else. So it just keeps your yarn clean in general and prevents it from tangling on anything. And yeah, just pulling it from the outside has, I also thought maybe inside, but definitely outside keeps that process really smooth for you.
Right. Yeah, I definitely just wanted to mention the pulling from the inside because we're all, you know, we all use yarn and that means we probably don't always follow the rules. We like to make each project our own. So I know some of you are going to pull from the inside anyway. So if you do, just make sure you've pulled that plastic tab for sure. I did want to, let's see. Oh, the one thing I wanted to mention when you do decide if you keep the skein together or if for whatever reason you're putting it in that baggie and you think you might not use it right away or you want to make sure you keep the info, there is also a really good, some pictures and things on the Yarnspirations website, but basically all the information you need right for the yarn is right down here. So you can always just cut off that little bottom piece of the label and keep it with your skein. So then you're going to have your color information, you know, you'll know what it's made out of, what weight it is at a glance, and you won't have to go back and say, wait a minute, which was this one? Or go back to the website and try and color match. So all that bottom information, you can always cut that off and keep it with your yarn if you do decide to go ahead and get rid of the rest of the label. I know I always have a few skeins laying around that I wish I'd kept the label for, and I have to go back and try and match up what they were. So that is another great tip. Along with the other great tips and tricks that are available, I know Allie's been putting the link in the chat a couple times, and there's that chart that Seema showed us and some really great information there to help you work with OGO and to inspire you, and a lot more patterns than we've been able to show you today. I mean, they're so gorgeous, but they're big patterns. So there's quite a few. How many patterns would you say there are for these up now?
Oh, dozens and dozens
Yeah.
and dozens. Like there are tons of patterns. And I saw somebody commented, we actually, one of our test crocheters crocheted that cardigan. I wish I had done it myself. I just wanted to give credit to them and Catherine, who worked on the pattern and assembling it all together so neatly with the ribbing and everything. And I realized I hadn't shown the big donut. Separating this OGO is just like separating the blanket OGO. You sort of find where the colors are. And as Tamara said, they just sort of want to come apart at that part. I don't really understand how it works, but it happens. And you can see here, the color just sort of, you can either, if you are doing color play, you can cut where the color transitions, or you can just keep crocheting or knitting as you go. So I really like one thing I wanted to call out is the yardage on Big Donut is incredible. It's 502 yards of worsted weight yarn on one OGO. And the reason I call that out is I did this pattern that uses 2 OGOs, and I was able to make 2 giant cowls, like knit cowls that were kind of ones that you could completely hide yourself in, because I wanted to use up as much of the OGO as possible and didn't realize you can get a lot out of one for sure.
Yeah, I suppose accessories are the one things with the big donut. You're probably not going to use the whole skein, but you could probably get several of them out of the skein, unless it's something like a big scarf. Because the 502 yards, I agree, that was phenomenal. A project I made is quite large and it only used 2 of them. There's just so much yardage. And the great thing is, since there's 5 colors, except for the solid colored ones, of course, that makes it really easy. You know, you've got approximately 100 yards of each color. So that will help you with your planning for your projects, you know, if you want to use those colors in really specific ways as well. So it makes it a little bit easier if you're planning. You don't have to do as much guesswork. I always recommend that, you know, you buy an extra skein or an extra OGO for your project. You know, it's a bummer when it turns out your gauge made you use 2 extra yards than, you know, the designer. And it's always good to have that little extra bit. I don't know about you, I always find a little bit more use for the extra yarn on my shelf anyway. But I really love how simple that does make it for your color planning purposes. I think that combined with that sheet are going to make it so easy.
Definitely. Oh, what round? I guess the shades for the cardigan were spiced ginger and Boston cream. And the pattern will indicate how much of each, but there should be 3 to 5 OGOs per shade, depending on the size that you're making, Sharon. And don't worry, we love the questions and you guys still have us for a bit more time. So if you have any others, just feel free to pop them in the chat.
I know, Tamara, you mentioned, or doing the math, I had to make I guess I didn't have to, but I put myself in a position where I had to make something overnight. And I was like, I didn't have any size bulky yarn, but I was like, this is easy math. 100 yards, I'll double it up. I'll make a really nice little marled hat and I'll just stitch it real quick and it will work up super fast. I feel like the big donut really has a nice like sponginess to it that makes it really nice to stitch with.
That actually is really exciting. I don't know that I've done any big donut projects that are marled, but that makes complete sense now looking at these together. What was I going to say? There was a question about dye lots. I mean, if you, with all of our yarns, like I would check there's usually a date or a code on the bottom. Ideally, you'd want them to be the same. Depending on how you're doing the color play though, you may not notice if your blocks are really separated, but it really depends on the pattern that you're using. And yes, the oranges, this one's making me think of a creamsicle, this segment. Really, I'm just separating all my yarn now because I don't know what I'm going to make with it, but I'm kind of.
They are kind of bizarrely fun to separate. It's strange, like you were saying. Again, I can't explain it, but it really feels like they want to come apart in that section. But that said, I have made projects now where I worked all the way through the skein and they don't come apart on you either. You know, they're not going to fall apart on you. You're not going to suddenly find that color segment falling into your lap and the other 3 are still on the table. It stays together until you pull it apart. But when you go to pull it apart, it pulls apart beautifully. It's that patent pending process, I guess. But it really is such a great innovation for yarn. I'm very excited about it. I do recommend you give it a try. You know, I think this OGO shape is very different than what you're used to using before. It's different from any skein or a hank or anything I've used, but I know I have really, really enjoyed using it. I was just as skeptical as everybody else when I first saw it, but once I started pulling from that end and saw just how easy and tangle-free it was, I know I got really excited. I'm one of those people who hates tangles. Some people love them, and you know, bless them, that's fantastic. I'm not. I'm a tangle hater. I would rather just get a new skein and, you know, set that one aside and time out. So this has been wonderful. It's been so stress-free. There's never that moment of, you know, trying to find that end desperately that you can't find. It just makes it so much simpler and easier to get started with your projects. Just snip, pull, stitch, and go. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if there are any crank knitters who are watching, but I used a Karen Big Donut. I was hoping to finish it in time for this live, but I kind of left it to the last minute and it's just shy of the cast off. But I used the Big Donut from start to finish to make one giant long scarf. So, I mean, that was really fun. And because of the way the giant color blocks are, I think it's like you're not even going to notice where the color transition happens. And that's such a giant scarf. And there is, I mean, there are tons of patterns online, but you can also see there is a really classic knit ribbed scarf that's on the label here. It uses just one OGO, and just like the blanket ones, you can point your phone at the QR code to see like have direct access to a whole bunch of patterns. Yeah.
One thing that I think is really cool too, and you don't see this on all of them, but particularly I think probably on the shorter ones, sort of like the one skein ones, is, I don't know if I can hold this up far enough without bringing in that other camera again, but can you guys see that little alarm clock there? That alarm clock symbol? 5 hours. So how great is that? Now, I think it'd probably be a tall order to estimate that for something as big as a blanket, but I love that they included the 5 hour little alarm clock there to let us know, about how long you can estimate that you're going to be spending on that project, which is really great if you're, one of those people who decides to make a hat last minute the night before. Always extra handy. Yeah, so that's just another really cool feature that I noticed on these.
Yeah, one thing I've found recently, because I've been doing a lot of last minute projects, including a blanket using Blanket Ogo last week. As I finished, I set a timer on my phone. I do not normally crochet this way, but I was needed to get it done. I set a timer, crocheted until I finished one color, checked my timer, and then I could see, okay, if I estimate that's how long it took me to do this one section, I'm gonna need 2 more evenings to get through the rest of this blanket. And it just kind of helped me in that last minute for anyone who's getting into like holiday gifting mode and thinking about blankets or scarves they may need to finish. If you're stuck, that may help you feel better, hopefully, if you know how much time it's going to take you. But I usually prefer not to know.
Yeah, I know. Once in a while, I get people ask me how long it took me, and I'm like, well, I did 5 minutes there, and I think it was 10 minutes there before got interrupted to go do something else. So that's always a hard estimate. So I'm really impressed they were able to include that on some of these skeins. It's just such a neat feature. Absolutely very cool. But I know, Allie, you've got some stuff you need to do, and we're almost out of time.
Yes. So I will be dropping the winners in the chat here, and I have also sent you each a private message. So please just keep an eye out for those. But tonight our winners are Patty S., Julia, and Crystal. You are our winners, and you should also see a private message from me in the chat on how you can claim your prize. But we definitely are so appreciative of everybody joining us tonight. And we still have a few minutes left. So if you have any questions about Ogo, or are looking for any specific projects or anything like that, we have a few minutes left that we can definitely help you out, give you some ideas. Tamara, I know you have one last project that you didn't show us earlier that you really need to show everybody because it is the cutest.
I want to make sure we had enough time, but one of the patterns I've designed with Bernat Blanket Ogo was the Halloween Monster Candy Bucket. And it's a big boy. Let me pull back here so we can see him.
So
and
cute.
This is just so fun. It's just a candy bucket for the kids, or, the bigger kids to take around on Halloween, or you could use it to put your candy in if you're just handing out this year. You can see it's a great big bucket inside, and I used all 3 colors of the Bernat Blanket Ogo. I believe this was the agave colorway. You can see the darker color I used right there for his belly and under tentacles, and just a couple big buttons. So it's just a really fun pattern. I think I used 2 of the Bernat Blanket Ogos to make this one. You will have a little bit left over. I always try and keep it close, but this one I needed a little bit more. So two Ogos for this one. And then you can pick out your own buttons and embroider on a little face, really make it your own. But it's just so much fun. And I really enjoyed using the Bernat Ogo for this one. So this one is free on mooglyblog.com. And it's another great pattern to try it out with.
Super cute.
Thank you.
Yeah, everyone's loving it, obviously, in the chat. That's great.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was really fun. I love, using Bernat Blanket for all sorts of big, stuffies and squishy projects and things like that. So yeah, I'm really loving the colorway selection for the Ogo. So definitely shout out to the Yarn Inspirations color picking team, whatever that job is. Sounds like an awesome job. And I think they did an amazing job on these yarns, really putting together these colorways for us that are unexpected but beautiful and just a whole lot of fun to work with.
The color pickers are actually 2 of our designers, sometimes others,
Okay.
but primarily 2 of our designers. So they sort of try to keep our designs in mind if you're ever wondering, how did that magically work out? It's because they're trying.
It definitely seems like magic. They're definitely very talented. So were there any questions we could answer? I always have a hard time trying to read and listen at the same time.
There was a question here about the price
Okay.
of both Bernat Blanket and Big Donut. If you have that on, I have it on hand too, though, so I can let everybody know.
Okay, yes. I don't happen to
Um,
have those on hand. I'm sorry.
So Bernat Blanket is $11.99 US dollars, $13.99 Canadian, and Big Donut is $12.99 and $16.99 Canadian dollars.
And keep in mind, that is some fantastic yardage on that one as well. And then this one, of course, is the same size as that great big skein. You might not think at it. Looking at this, I wouldn't necessarily think it's the same size, but it is the same yardage as the skeins that you're used to. It's one of those conservation of mass things that tends to fool you.
Yeah.
Right.
And oh, I remember a lot of people asking originally how they can store their Ogos. I mean, I just have mine on my shelf. They fit just fine. They're currently standing up, and then the ones that I have in segments, I've just put in a basket. So basket, shelves, however you need to hold them, it should work out.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
All right. Well, we've got just 2 minutes officially left. Were there any last minute questions we could answer?
I don't think I see any other questions here, but thank you everybody so much for joining us tonight. And thank you, of course, to Seema and Tamra for showing us all of this great information about these yarns and all the fantastic projects that we can work on. Julia wants to know if we can get her a bigger yarn room. I think that's a valid question.
I will put her on the list. I need a bit more myself. Got some new yarns to add for sure.
Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Fantastic. Awesome. Well, thank you, everybody. And we hope to see you back at another community classroom soon.
Have a great night, everybody.
Awesome. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.